Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And glad that you would have the time to meet here. And the idea about this is that the survey that you have all been filled out, and all your colleagues have been filling out, we're going to look at that, look at the results, and try to analyze the results to look at what could we do next, what kind of areas should we focus on. So that's the whole idea about today. And now we're getting to the main subject of this conversation here about using or creating materials for colleagues to use. Of course, it's materials for the students, but how often do you either create them yourself or use colleagues? Okay? What do you think about this result?
I don't use courses made by my colleagues or made by others. I always produce my own courses, and what I do is to drag stuff in, that I find. But I just like make my own courses for my students because it gives the students the authenticity that I like. They know that this is stuff that I created, and they hear my voice in the videos, and they know that it's my keynote. So that's, I just like it to be real.
If I need to be honest, I think I don't necessarily agree, because I've taken videos done by others. I think I used something you did where you explained how to put the comma into sentences or something. They didn't say anything. It was like, this is done by Nils made this.
We don't, as a one size doesn't fit all. No. So if Martin made a very good course, I can get very inspired of it and take the best parts. But I also know my students, and they are maybe not able to do the same task. So I have to make it. I have to work on it anyways. So and also with the authenticity, it's very important, I think, because they are used to hearing my voice and the way I pronounce things and the way I normally set up tasks, and it might be different from other teachers, the way they do it. So
after today, that we say, okay, is it right? Is it right that a student needs to have his own teacher or her own teacher stuff produced to make it work? Or is it something about that it's more a culture thing? What kind of projects could we are ways to invest that?
Well, I think it could be actually quite funny to take the class and then present something that, for instance, I made for them, and then the same thing, same subject that somebody else explained, to see, okay, how do the students actually connect to this? Do they understand the same tasks when I say it and when the colleague says it? Or if there's an instruction in something, the way I would say it or a colleague would say it, do they get the same outcome of it? So that could be a quite easy way to actually find out.
So that would be a good way to find out, is there a difference in the understanding among the students? I'm getting a little bit back to this then, because what I see here is actually a very, very positive result. It's a positive result that a lot of teachers at your school are using courses created by colleagues. All right, but we also hear from this talk that we have a big amount of maybe colleagues who are using stuff, but we have another part who are actually creating the stuff. So the interesting part here could be, I think, to research what the students are thinking about these materials. What kind of materials works on them, and to make two standpoints here. Is it important or is it not that important that it's done by their own teacher? So what do you think after this little conversation?
Actually, I think I feel a bit ensured that some of the things we talked about prior to the survey and also during the conversation with the champions are actually some of the issues, main issues we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing educational material. And also we heard from the champions that there were obvious opinions about, for example, the necessity of for the students to hear a specific teacher's voice within materials, and this could be a barrier for sharing materials also. So I think this could be a good idea to investigate even further, and also to make sure that the champions could make an inquiry regarding this, for example. I also think that this could relate to perhaps a need for a stronger learning design, so we are more in tuned in the organization in the way we are designing learning. And again, at the end of the day, even though that 67.7% are stating that they are using education courses created by their colleagues, this could be perhaps a good idea to go deeper into that, whether or not it's actually true. Because we see that on a daily basis also.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we should work more on narrow down the research questions.
Yeah.
So it will be easier for them to actually assess and evaluate and measure. And I think, as I hear you say, we have two big issues. We have something about the materials itself.
Yeah.
Is it something? Are they good enough to use?
Quality. Yeah.
And then there's, and I think, a big chapter here about culture.
Yeah.
We have two kind of cultures, both the culture about using others' material, but also the idea of you as a teacher, as one who is going to create your own stuff all the time, and what kind of impact do that culture have at your school? I think that could be interesting.
Yeah.
But that's a little fluffy thing to investigate. So we have to find a way, some good research questions that ensure that we can also look at the task and or whatever we set up to see if there is an impact. That we can measure the results. So I think it could be very interesting, and I think we should aim for the same group to meet with them again and make them help us by finding the real best research questions.